Hey everybody, my name is BlakJak. Welcome to my review of Death Stranding. As always, I'm going to be talking about the aspects I think make a good video game. Those being story, presentation, gameplay, and content. In my past reviews, I used to retell the story, but I feel like I didn't really give my opinion on it. So, I'm going to try something a little different. I won't ruin anything major, so you shouldn't have to worry about it too much. You play as Sam Porter Bridges Strand, played by Norman Reedus. Sam is a porter who works for bridges. These names only get better, I swear. The goal of the game is to start off in the East Coast and make your way westward, connecting every city along the way. Of course, this is a Kojima game, so it's going to get weird. How weird? Well, how about this throat fetus? Yeah, it's one of these games. Look, on the surface it sounds weird. Just know the fetus is actually an unborn baby taken from the womb of a still mother, and it allows the users to see the dead. Traveling across the country, you're bound to meet some interesting people. Well, let me tell you, you meet some weird ass fucking people. Everything from an otter hood wearing cosplayer all the way to passive aggressive drunk dealers. The most important people are those directly connected to Sam, however. Each one has an interesting backstory. My favorite backstories are Hartman's, modeled after Nicholas Refn, but voiced by Darren Jacobs, and Fragile's, played by Léa Seydoux. But they're not the only interesting characters. I think each one of the supporting cast are all really good. The others are Mama, Lochne, Deadman, Die Hardman, and Amelie. So the reason Sam needs to travel to the West Coast is to save his sister Amelie from the evil clutches of Higgs, played by Troy Baker. Higgs wants to plunge the world into a new extinction period, and Amelie is the key to it all. Speaking of Higgs, can I just say I love the acting in this game? The best character is of course Lou, BB-28, and here's why.
Go fuck yourself, I'm not your errand boy.
Well, in any event, it seems it owes you its life.
No.
Yeah, that's right. You traveled the goddamn fuck you, fetus. No, but in all seriousness, my favorite character is Higgs. I love how ridiculous and over the top this character is. Combine that with the excellent performance from Troy Baker and you got one hell of a grand old time. Tommy Earl Jenkins has a phenomenal part during his performance as Die Hardman. I'm not going to show clips from it just to avoid any potential spoilers. That being said, the first time I saw that particular scene at the end, it just blew me away. It's a shame that Die Hardman's character motivations didn't allow for some more great scenes like that one. Throughout the game, you'll be introduced to the most mysterious character. Mads Malkinson plays Cliff Unger. I don't really want to get too much into this though, so I'll try and keep it brief. You'll be given snippets of his stories through the eyes of the BB, usually when you get out of a private room. It will all get revealed at the end, but it's neat that you can actually piece it all together as you play the game. I like the story quite a bit. I think it's entertaining, it's engrossing, it has twists and turns, and I wasn't expecting to have all my opinions change on a lot of the characters. However, the dialogue in the game is really weird. Now, do not get me wrong, I love it when games, and by extension other media, don't take themselves too seriously. Kojima's style of humor is all over the place. Higgs and Deadman tend to bring up video game terms occasionally.
The annihilation. Game over, man. Place is a crater.
Also, that one Amelie line is just flat dumb.
Great. So I'm Mario and you're Princess Peach.
Yeah. Like Mario and Princess Peach.
I can see why some people had issues with it, but personally I'm used to it. I mean, for fuck's sake, one of my favorite lines in Metal Gear Solid 1 is,
"It's like one of my Japanese animes."
if Metal Gear Solid 3 is praised as one of the best PS2 games of all time with moments like this, then I don't see the occasional dumb line as an issue. Honestly, I found it funny, and it came after some pretty heavy scenes and moments, and it just helped lighten the mood. It doesn't help that 2 seconds later the atmosphere and tone took a drastic shift again, but still I enjoyed the line. This game is extremely depressing. The themes and stories being told are heartbreaking and saddening, so a little humor is well placed within this game. One issue I do have though is the exposition in this game. The real issue is that there's a lot of it. But they do couple the exposition with really creative cinematography for the most part. My favorite being Hartman's, for instance. I like that there's a timer in the corner before, and then like it fades over time. And I love that shot with the explosion in the glasses. Like, that's just one of the best shots in the game for me personally.
City and the hospital were spared the worst, but the shockwave knocked out the power and my life support.
Unfortunately, Dead Man has not so good exposition, which is a shame because I'm sure they could have really done something interesting with Guillermo del Toro's character's backstory.
The truth is, I'm Frankenstein's monster. Artificial, grown from pluripotent stem cells.
Much like what they did with Mamas.
Hello? Is anyone there?
I was pinned under the rubble.
Now onto the presentation. This game is beautiful. Everything from the characters to the environment is just stunning. The animations are really good as well. However, there's one character in this game that hits the uncanny valley for me, but she's such a minor character and you only really get to see her model in like 2 cutscenes. It's not that big a deal for me. I wish that the game had more animals in it though. For instance, you see deer and birds in the beginning cutscenes of the game, and then that's it. You see dead beached animals and fish while in the scene, but that's about it. I understand that the timefall would kill animals, but like, you see them escaping across a cliff, except for this one. My point is, why show me deer and birds when they're not even in the game? Okay, just give me some deers, give me some birds, sprinkle in a fucking cat or two, and I'll have a gay old time, alright? Just fucking, I want some animals in my environment, okay? The environments are all done really well. Everything from the water to the Rocky Mountain areas to even the snow, it all looks so good. I like the character designs a lot too. Higgs has that cool Pharaoh color scheme going on with the Eyes of Horus eyeliner. Like, ooh, looking good, girl. Sam, the man with the longest fucking name, looks like the guy from The Walking Dead. Anyway, it all looks good, even down to the loose hair. Speaking of the hair, Regis' hair looks real when it's down, but it looks fake as fuck when it's tied back. I wish there was a way to have it down always. I mean, I normally play with the hat anyway, so it's not really that big a deal to me. Sam's design is pretty cool though. He's got some cross-stitching on his stomach, which gets explained later. He has handprints all over his body and even a minimal hand tattoo. The standard issue Bridge Porter uniforms are pretty neat. I especially like the scanner, the Odradek scanner I believe it's called. It's pretty cool. It changes forms from a butterfly to a cross, even a little hand. I think it's the BB controlling, but I'm not actually too sure on that. Still neat though. Speaking of the BB, it's cute yet weird. I like that it has a strong personality and it blows heart bubbles at you. That's fucking adorable. I love BB, best character. The game has horror aspects to it, but I wouldn't necessarily categorize it as a horror game. The enemy designs are pretty neat. You have 3 varieties of enemies, not including gravity of course. The first variety of enemy are the Gazers. The Gazers are the standard form of BTs. I like how it looks like they're cloaked in a Reaper's hood. I say the phrase "it looks like" because you never really get a good look at what they would appear as, considering they're invisible enemies. The baby BTs are morbid as fuck to think about, which to me makes it an interesting idea and design. There are also massive Gazers that take a few well-placed attacks to take them down. And they give you a ton of Chiralium crystals. Much like the second variety of enemies actually, the Catchers are mini-boss-like enemies that take the shape and form of tar and hand-covered animals. You have the Dolphin Beta and Alphas, the Lion Beta and Alphas, and the Leviathan, which looks like a giant blue whale. These mini-bosses appear when you trigger a Gazer, and then you get captured by their little grabby swamp people. After fighting them, they drop a ton of Chiralium crystals, as well as clearing the area BTs for a short amount of time. Oh, I actually forgot about the jellyfish-like enemies whose names I do not know. There's a second variety that splits into 2 when you shoot them, but that's pretty much all they do. And finally, the final enemy type are the human enemies, typically dubbed as mules. I like their look, and I found them nerve-wracking the first time I saw them. They come in a few different colors, and some of them attack you with either shock sticks or lethal weapons. Just real quick, I found them nerve-wracking at first because up until you first meet them, you're all alone, with the only human interaction being the hologram videos of people you're delivering things to. I remember being slightly panicked when the first actual human interaction you see starts to chase you and attack you. There are also independent porters wearing all white that will give you likes in anything they're carrying so long as you don't try and kill them. I like the likes. I think it's funny when you see a character give you a big old thumbs up and then on the side of the screen it says such and such gave you 20 likes. I personally find it endearing, and it's nice getting a slight positive reinforcement while continuing on your long journey. You got likes from doing anything from riding a zipline to delivering packages. Colors are important to a lot of characters and designs. For instance, white suits usually signify independent porters, while black is for the security team and red is for the medical staff. The game has a really good sense of details too. It's usually subtle stuff like the game over in the background looking like Metal Gear Solid's game over, down to the quick change routines that some of the characters do. I thought it was cool whenever I picked up on some of them. I know that some of the characters in this game are well-known people like Conan O'Brien or Jeff Keighley, but I'm dumb and I don't know most of them. But I'm sure to someone who does know them, they would be like, oh cool, he's in here, or oh, that's neat, such and such is the film director. Little details like this are nice for those in the know. The diegetic sounds are nice and futuristic sounding, while the non-diegetic music is interesting. Now, I love the score by Ludwig Forssell. It's dark, it's mysterious, it's foreboding, and I find it amazing. It's the licensed music that I have a slight issue with. It's not bad. Actually, I love the tracks that are in this game. My issue is that you can't seem to listen to the music whenever you're out and about in the game's environment. In Metal Gear Solid 5, you're able to listen to all the music using the Walkman app on the iDroid. Mind you, that game takes place in the mid-70s to mid-80s, using technology that didn't exist in that particular time period. Death Stranding is a game that takes place in the not-so-distant future with amazing technology. So why is there no Walkman app? You can listen to the music in the private rooms, and even set them to play on custom structures, but like, I want to raid the mule encampments while listening to I'll Keep Coming, damn it! In summary, I love the music in this game. It's really good and I'd recommend it to anyone if you like M83 or MGMT, that kind of style of music. My other issue with the music is that it tends to appear in the strangest of times. I'll be right near my destination when a Silent Poet song starts playing. I even got a weird glitch where a song started playing when I activated a terminal to deliver some materials, and everything sounded so dampened.
Preserved. Uncannily even.
I'm not entirely sure what happened there, to be quite honest with you. Also, so far in the aftergame, I haven't gotten another song to play randomly, which I think a music app for that reason would be beneficial to the player. Okay, so now we get to the divisive part of the game. Let me try to describe the gameplay real quick. You're essentially a glorified Amazon employee. The similarities are delivering packages while fighting off crazy people and ghosts. The difference is that Sam can pee freely and not in a water bottle. Joking aside, the gameplay is oddly complex, yet simple. The simplicity comes from the control scheme. The shoulder buttons act like the left and right arms respectively, and you can jump and even double jump, as well as crouch and punch using the face buttons. L1 is a compass mode / first person mode view, which I found out today allows you to walk faster in the snow. From this first person view you can see the BB, and even place signs down to communicate with other people. More on that in a minute. R1 is used for the ODRDAC scanner, and if you hold it, you can hold your breath. The triangle button picks up packages, and if you hold it, you can take everything off. Holding either shoulder button near a package makes Sam pick it up in his hand. You can then attack with the item, and by letting go of the shoulder button mid-attack, Sam can throw it. I learned that the hard way. The complexities come from the mechanics of the game. The physics in this game are really weird. It's trying to imitate real life, but you get some really iffy moments, like the jittery way Sam wave dashes when falling. There's a weight and balance mechanic in this game as well. The more stuff you carry, the heavier you are, and the more likely it is for you to fall over and damage the stuff you're carrying. You can balance yourself by holding both shoulder buttons, however you walk or run much slower. You even have a stamina bar that gradually depletes and diminishes the longer you play. You can replenish this energy bar by drinking Monster Energy. Oh, by the way, this game has advertising in it. I didn't mind them, I found them really funny. If you take a nap in a private room, you'll be able to restore the entire stamina bar. The variety in this game is pretty minimal. There's a combat system in place, but it's really simple. The shoulder button functions get replaced to aim and shoot/counter. Each of the guns feel distinct from one another. The assault rifle and grenade launcher are my most used weapons probably. Also, I learned that some assault rifles, or maybe even some guns, have the ability to attach different weapons. For instance, this assault rifle has a grenade launcher attachment to it. I like that some of the weapons do more damage the longer you hold the shoot button. Also, the different ammos are a good way to add variety to each weapon. Blood and chiral ammos are most effective against BTs, while the sticky and non-lethal enemies are most useful against the regular human enemies. The lethal ammo I only felt comfortable using during boss fights, mostly because in the context of the game, killing people causes void outs and thus creates more BT activity, so I try to avoid that as much as possible. The last bit of gameplay is probably my least favorite aspect. The driving is not very good. The reverse strike is the better of the two options, but even that's not the best. The reverse strike is pretty decent when climbing up mountains and rocky terrain, since you can always pop a wheelie and jump on the rocks to climb over them. And the truck, on the other hand, can cross bodies of water much easier. However, it can't climb up rocky terrain the best. That to me makes sense though. What doesn't make sense is how a small little tiny rock will stop a barreling truck dead in its tracks and sometimes make the driver lose control of the vehicle all in one shot. Driving doesn't feel as solid as the other two varieties of gameplay, however it becomes tolerable with the aspect of building the highways. Speaking of building things, we come to my absolute favorite aspect about this game. The sense of camaraderie is incredible in this title. For the most part, you're all alone in this large environment, but you can communicate with other players by dropping signs all over the place to warn or help people out. Every object you build, whether it be an anchor to climb down a mountain, or a ladder to create a makeshift bridge, or even a generator to power batteries or your motorcycle, all affect you while simultaneously affecting other people in their games. That means the extremely large amount of materials needed to build portions of the highways become extremely more manageable if you place a sign saying, hey, add metals here. It's really neat and allows players to use already built structures in the environment to help out with their journey. But you're only able to use or see these structures if you connect the area to the UCA. The other bit of online play comes from the road system. The more you and other players travel on the same patch of land, the more the land degrades and becomes easier to traverse as a result. Think Animal Crossing City Folks, grass deterioration, it's a similar concept. The deliveries you make to each person increases your connection rating with them. Each star gives you a nice little reward. Rewards range from customization options like holograms and colors to items and weapons and their subsequent upgrades. Reaching 5-star connection rating with any area gives you a star that Sam puts on his suit, as well as the ability to sleep at certain prepper areas. There's a ton of areas to deliver packages too. So many, in fact, that I feel that the story suffers from a bit of padding near about chapter 8. Now I want to talk about the menus for a quick minute. I don't like them at all. The only menu I like is the map, because in the map you can plan out your route and then follow a dotted line to the best of your ability. But other than that, the menus are extremely hard to read. I find the text size to be incredibly small, and the combination of a light background with a white text choice makes the menus an irritating time to look at. I spent a lot of time in the menus when playing the game, and it was very difficult to do exactly what I wanted. For instance, after equipping items to your suit or back or wherever the fuck you put it, you're supposed to confirm your actions by either holding the X button or simply scrolling down and pressing accept. In other games, if you were to be in a menu, the simple act of just closing out the menu with the back button, in this case the circle button, would be more than enough to accept the changes made. I feel like it's a tad unnecessary to add this extra little step, and I'm not sure why it's in there. I suspect it has something to do with the online aspect of the game, but I'm not too entirely sure. Also, the text out in the overworld is incredibly tiny, which makes things really hard to read. Sometimes you have to stop dead in your tracks just to stare at the words to read them. Now, I love this game, but I don't think it's for everyone. It has an interesting premise, but it's hard to describe without really getting into it. This game isn't perfect, but when it does something right, it nails it. The gameplay can be repetitive if you go out of your way and do everything this game has to offer. That being said, this game is also a slow burn. It takes a good 5 to 6 hours without skipping the cutscenes to get to the really fun aspects of the gameplay. If you're the kind of person who doesn't mind that kind of setup to have fun, I would recommend it. Actually, for anyone who wants a weird and engaging story, I would recommend it also. I can really only recommend it in those two aspects though. I think Death Stranding deserves an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed my time with it. I'll probably come back to it in some years from now, but after putting in nearly 85 hours at the time of writing the script, I might move on to other games. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.